You've seen those Apple-style animations, smooth, clean, and super premium, but creating that look is way easier than it seems. This clip is from my Skillshare class on Apple-style UI animation. I'll show you how to set up your layouts in Figma, bring them into After Effects, use nested nulls, and customize everything with a 3D camera and motion blur. Basically the full system that gives your animations that Apple feel. Let's jump in. We are going to prepare our assets. So we've already created the scripts, we've recorded the scripts. Now, before we start editing, we need to prepare everything we have to work on. Because if we don't do that, it's going to be a bit of a headache to do it in the process. So let's copy the script and let's come back to ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT. Okay, so for this script, this is the final script for the vertical video. We are going to use, as I told you before, we're going to create Apple animations and we need to use different Apple UI designs. I need to give me a list of different possible ideas. So for example, one can be a Finder view. The other one can be iPhone view. It can be iPhone notifications. It can be iPhone apps. So instead of the notifications, it would be the text. Instead of the icons, like under the icons, instead of the text, there would be our text. Give me more ideas where I can put text like this. Maybe we can do like a browser. Maybe we can do search results in Google, something like that. So give me different Apple UI related ideas for designs. And just give me a list of like 20 different ideas. Finder window. Okay, iMessage chat bubble. Great. iPhone notifications banner. Lock screen notifications. App icons with labels, control center titles, can be great. Okay, let's count how many we have. We can do this in advance and actually mark it with different colors. So I think because of the speed, because this is going to be very fast, we can mark it with one color and it's going to be one scene. Let's do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 different scenes. Just because of the timing and because I already kind of have an idea of what the video is going to look like, I broke it down like this. That's it. Like there's no specific formula I'm following. I'm just kind of having an idea in my head and trying to replicate in real life. We need 6 different scenes. Let's take a look at the other ones. Apple Music. Oh. This is going to be 1. So I'm thinking about notifications. This can be this part. So each notification is going to be like, we're going to have a notification animation. And then for each notification, we're going to have like month, week, day, hour, minute. I think it's going to be super cool. These are not in a particular order. This is just what we need to find. And in order for me to understand how many we have, I just change the numbers. Okay, so now let's try to go to Figma, Finder window. Let's search for Finder window and see if we can find it. Okay, so let's zoom in and we are going to need this part. Okay, so you want to make sure you double click until there's like a specific one that you chose. And as you can see, this is the one that I needed. I don't need the whole Finder number 1. We don't need the header. So I was just clicking until I got exactly the one that I was looking for. And now I'm going to right click, copy as SVG, and let's go into Illustrator. New file, web, large, and Command V or Control V to paste. Now let's increase it in size by pressing Shift and Option. I'm going to make it bigger like so. Now I'm going to open until we see all the objects. I'm going to go down and with Shift select all the objects and I'm going to drag it all out. Now you will see that some of these became a little bit visible, so I'm just going to delete it because we don't need it at the bottom. I think it will be really cool to kind of create text here. For example, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can have like a whole sentence here. Let's click here. Release to layer sequence. Select all the layers. 150 layers. That's a big number of layers and drag them out of the layer 1. Okay, this is great. Command S to save it, and let's call it Finder window. Okay, now I'm going to add the text straight in After Effects, and for now I can just close it. I can actually close it by pressing Command W or Control W, and it's going to close the window. And now let's just double check that everything's okay. We're going to open it. Boom, perfect. This one is ready. iMessage chat. Okay, actually this looks great, and this is the one. Okay, let's right click, copy it as well, Command N to create new one, web large, Command V. Okay, so let's release to layers sequence. Let's select everything, drag it out, and now save this one. We are going to call it iMessage bubble. I'm going to save everything on desktop and then later customize. This one is done. iPhone notifications. Quite like everything. Okay, so let's save this one as well. Release layer, drag it out, Control S, save it on screen, music. So we have the music. Okay, let's come back to notifications and let's search for it. All I'm doing here is going through exactly the same process. Figma, Illustrator, save the file. Instead of boring you with exactly the same thing that you've already seen me do 10 times, I sped this up. Overall, it took me roughly 45 minutes to complete and prepare all the assets. Okay, great. So now we have Finder view, iMessage, calendar, notifications, other notifications as well, music, and notes. Great. In terms of UI designs, we have everything prepared. Now we can put it into our, this is going to be a vertical video, so UI designs. We can put everything here to make sure things are organized. So let's drop it there. Now let's drop it into the vertical video and into UI designs. Okay, so now we can actually start working the video. We have our audio, we have our designs. Absolutely beautiful. We have everything prepared and we are ready to start working. We've done through all the preparation, the boring work. Now let's get and practice. Okay, so let me show you what I've done here. I didn't do it on camera because I want to take some time and I don't want you to bore with the boring stuff. So here's what I did. We had our 6 different designs, UI designs, and I just marked them with color exactly as we have the script so that I know, for example, for this part, we're going to use the Finder. I also moved them around to make it a little bit easier. Don't take a look at these numbers, so we can actually just go ahead and delete it. Perfect. So we have this ready. Now let's jump into After Effects. Okay, we create new project. We will create new composition. I'm not sure how long this will be. Ooh, actually, because we have, guys, I completely forgot. We have the audio recording. So we need to create the Premiere project first to cut the audio, and then we'll add the designs in After Effects. For that, we need to open Premiere, create the sequence, just cut it. You can definitely do it in After Effects. It's just a little bit easier for me to do it in Premiere because usually After Effects is more for like motion graphics design and Premiere is more for putting everything together. New project, let's call it vertical video, and I'm going to choose a location, vertical video. Okay, Shift Command N to create a new folder, and let's call it PR. Like this. In order to open emojis, it's Control Command Space, then create. Okay, and here we're going to create a vertical video. Okay, create the project. Let's drag our audio here. Let's create a sequence. We can kind of drag and drop the audio here, but then if we take a look at the settings, like we don't have control over these settings, so it's not something I want to do. I want to create a sequence. Select this, 30 frames a second, 1920, 1080, okay, oops, sorry, 1080 by 1920. The shortcut to open the settings, first of all, you can open all kind of shortcuts with keyboard shortcut. The shortcut is Option Command K on Mac, and it's Alt Control K on PC. So we can open these, and then if I search for settings, and we can search for sequence settings, Command K, you can put yourself the same shortcut if you want. It's the same shortcut that's used in After Effects. Let's drag it here. I actually don't like the way this looks, so I created a shortcut for myself to customize the timeline. You can watch my other courses on how to do this. And okay, now we just need to cut everything. How much does Tim Cook make every second? How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's $2.37 every single second. That's more than most people make in an hour, every second. Share this with a friend who needs a raise. Perfect. Let's create another folder called it AE, which is After Effects, and I'm going to set a tag as well. So I have this purple tag, which is Control 3, the shortcut on MacBook, to create this sort of purple, so that I know that this color is only like project related. We can also do like downloads, that's also project related, and then it's just easier for me to organize. Okay, so we can do a dynamic link. However, if I right-click, replace with After Effects composition, it doesn't work. In order for a dynamic link to work, we need to have some sort of visual. You know, it doesn't matter. It can be, the visual itself can be super short, it can be like this long, right-click, and now we can do it. However, instead of doing it like right-clicking, I have a shortcut. So replace with After Effects composition. For me, the shortcut is Option A, and I just press on, take a look at this, Option A. There you go. And let's call it vertical video, Tim Cook. Okay. And we'll put it into After Effects. We'll delete the graphic, and now we have the composition that's exactly the same as we created in Premiere. So we have the width, the height, and 30 frames a second. Everything's good, although the time is okay, because that's how long our audio is. You can see this turned into red. We can press Command Z if we want to undo it and be able to put it after. I would say it would be better to export it from After Effects first, because otherwise it's gonna have to render it in real time in Premiere, and instead of putting so much pressure on our computer, we can just export it from After Effects later. So I just pressed Command Z. I can press Shift Command Z to redo, but I'm going to press Command Z, pressing Command S to save it, and Command Q to quit. Okay, I'm going to select all the audio, press Shift Command C to pre-compose, and we will call this audio. We have solids. Okay, so we don't need solids, we can delete it. Graphic, we can delete graphic, delete audio. Okay, we can put it into audio like so, and we can put audio here as well, because we don't need to customize the audio. We can only customize it. I mean, we can, but we don't necessarily need it. So how much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. And for this, we're going to use the Finder window. Okay, so let's search for our UI designs, and let's find the Finder window, composition, layer size, press OK, and let it do its job. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time to load everything. Let's open it up. So what I'm thinking about is putting text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we can select this, find it, and then let's find a text tool. What kind of text do we have? How much? How much? SF Pro, regular. Perfect. This is the Apple font. Remember, in order to stop editing the text, press on Command plus or Control plus, and it's going to just go back to the selection tool. Let's zoom in. I think my font is a little bit too big. We need to decrease it. Let's make sure it's the same height, P and H, so maybe 22. Okay, now P. Let's change its position, put it around here, and 146, we're going to disable it. Okay, now by pressing Command D, I'm going to duplicate the text. example, put it here, duplicate the text again, P to open position, put it there. Instead of how much, does. And let's put it like so. By the way, let's disable, select V, and does Tim Cook disable. Okay, it's far away. So actually, let's keep all the texts together, like so. Annual report, this one. Okay, so here's what we have. How much does Tim Cook make per second? And now I was thinking about putting Tim Cook here, like in this part, like an actual image of him. Let's search for PNG if we have something. This looks so similar to Steve Jobs. Okay, let's use this one. Save image. And let's not put it here yet. Let's find this layer. Okay, so we might need to disable a number of things here. Let's import Tim Cook image. I can open scale by pressing S, and I can open position by pressing P. And if I want them to be both open at the same time, I have to press Shift in between those. Okay, so there are a couple of things we can do. We can either track matte him, and we should give it a try. So this is the one. Can we track matte it? Yes, like so. Perfect. S and P. Let's put him to 12. By the way, it should be visible as well. Perfect. Put him to the bottom. Like so. Isn't this great? I think this is beautiful. Let's go to the audio. How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay, we can do it here as well. So let's search for, duplicate this one, P, move it here. Now let's select these two, copy them and paste them here. Doesn't matter, actually, we should probably paste it around here so that we can hear. And now we need to animate the text. There are a couple of ways we can do this. We can either do it by using what Adobe has, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So for example, how much, by the way, you've probably seen me use this part here. This is a FX console by Video Copilot. So you can go ahead and download it, and then by pressing a shortcut, you'll be able to search for different effects. So just come to this website, go ahead and download it, install it. It's absolutely free. And then you'll be able to press a combination, search for effects. So for example, for fade up words, and you will see that we will now have the text animated here. How much does Tim? And then if we press U, we have the keyframes. So that's one way we can do this. We can use like a typewriter effect, like a fade up, like something else, the text animations. However, one of my favorite ways to animate text is to use a text evo script. It's a paid script that you have to pay for. It's $30. So if you don't have this option, then use what you have with After Effects. If you do have an option to spend $30, then go ahead and use it. It's absolutely great. I'm going to show you what it does. So I'm going to press shortcut for myself once again to run the script. If you don't have the shortcut, you can just script, run scripts, and yeah, you can see there, this is the shortcut. Command R, and I'm going to go to desktop scripts, text evo script, and we're going to have this pop up. Now I'm able to, for example, up opacity words apply. It's the presets that I created for myself, and the text is going to go up. It's going to increase with opacity because right now the opacity is at 0. I'm going to press on U, and okay. How much this? Can speed it up a little bit. How much this? By pressing L double times on the audio, I'm going to open the waveforms to see things better. How much this? To see where certain words start. So we can either move it like this, the text. We can also just press on a bracket. like left bracket is going, and it's going to basically do the same thing as moving it here. We can also press Option bracket and it's going to cut it. It's the equivalent of pressing Shift Command D, making a cut and deleting this part. So I'm going to press Option left bracket to cut it. Option left bracket. Tim Cook. Left bracket. It's actually not per second, it's every second. Let's double check that we have text with the audio. How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. Perfect. Now I'm going to run the script again. Actually, it's already here. So let's use opacity words apply, and we can select all of these. Opacity words apply. Does Tim Cook make every second? Let's press U. Okay, so these are supposed to start later. Does Tim Cook make every second? So we'll use the same animation here. We'll use opacity words apply. U. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. We are going to have all text stop here. So once again, Shift Command D and then press and delete, or we can press Option right bracket. It's just for me to see where it ends. Down. How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. Let's leave it like this for now. Come to the project Finder window. How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. Great. Okay, so for this part, we have everything ready. And I'm going to cut this layer to here. So we have the first 326 ready. Now, the next thing we need to do is to come here, Apple Calendar event. Okay, let's search for Apple Calendar. I think we'll use iPhone Calendar because that's what I liked. Composition, layer size, import, open. So let's try to create some text here. The font definitely needs to be smaller. I know how we can Frankenstein this thing together. It's going to look a little bit ugly. Okay, maybe we should go for 15. Let me copy this thing, put it here, and then put it here. This is going to be a bit ugly, but people will not notice these little things because on top of that, we're going to animate the camera. This part is actually like, it's good. Okay, so let's create a mask. So let's move it up like so. Now let's create a mask. So we need to select this tool and let's create the mask, but then we will invert the mask like so. Perfect. And now what we can also do is we can select a linear wipe. We will set -90 so that it goes from left to the right. So we will time the transition, and here it's going to be complete. You can also press Fn, F9 to make it smooth. Okay, project, where was it? iPhone calendar. iPhone calendar in, put it here. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. Let's open the audio, copy this one, go into iPhone calendar, search for this, select, paste, go to the very beginning. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. Maybe we should do it linear instead. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. I'm going to disable the audio here because we have double audio. 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million. So we've done the first two. iMessage chat bubble. Okay, iMessage bubble. Drop it in, composition, layer size, audio. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's 2.3. And to copy this iMessage and paste it in here. That's $6.2 million a month. Okay, let's put our text here. Okay, so here the text needs to be a bit bigger. To fit the screen, I have to press Shift and align that sideways. Don't know what it's called exactly, but it's this one here. This key, multiple command. Okay, this one here. Shift and that one, and you shift back to this view. At this point, you probably got the idea. We just need to customize every single piece that will be customized, will be animated. And so I'm not going to speak, I'm just going to do it. You get the idea. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them below, but other than that, let me just go ahead and do it, not bore you with this, and then once we get into the fun stuff, I'll be back. Okay, here's the interesting part. Now that I have the text animated, I have the typewriter effect on all the text. What I want to do now is animate every single bubble pop up. For that, we can use a couple of different things, but I'm thinking about using a transform effect, which then I'll be able to just go ahead and copy in all of them. Or, oh yeah, actually we can go ahead and try the animation composer, which we have in front of me. So we have both of these. We need to parent one to the other. So I parented the whip, this at the end, to the big one. And let's try to start the presets. Maybe this one. Okay, this is definitely a bit too much. Maybe bounces 0. I quite like everything. Okay, now we need to open this to see where the animation starts. I'm going to go to, for example, here and paste. Let's take a look. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute. $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute. Okay. Great. Now in terms of all this other stuff, I'm not even sure. Potentially we could just go ahead and disable most of the stuff because we're not using it. Okay, this looks great. Make sure to save the projects. Okay, now let's put it in. So we have the iMessage bubble. That's $6.2 million a month. Okay, we did this animation. Now Apple Music. Okay. Let's go. And we need to break down this part here, because right now it's one big layer. We need it to be lots of small layers. Okay, so it's this one. Let's take all of this out, like so. Layer. Okay, now we should be able, yes. Okay, save this. Let's give it a try without closing Illustrator first. Yes, okay, now we're able to customize every single bit. Okay, so now we can close the Illustrator. And we should have an icon here. We don't have an icon. We should put Tim Cook there. We should. Isn't it beautiful? I think it is. Okay, now we need notes. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's $2.37 every single second. That's more than most people make in an hour, every second. Share this with a friend who needs a raise. Beautiful, isn't it beautiful? Okay, now let's do the final touches here. So everything is good. Aside from here, we need to add a picture here at the top, add a background here, and add a background here. Okay, let's quickly go through everything. Let's create a circle, put it in the middle, and now let's put a picture. Oh yeah, let's put another picture of Tim Cook here. and we will track matte this image like so. Okay, what else do we need? We need background here. Okay, let's open this one. Okay, let's find a picture. iPhone screen. We just need to get the dimensions right. Let's try to align these things so that it fits perfectly. I think it does now. Now we can create an outline ourselves. Let's create a rounded rectangle shape. Deselect everything by pressing Shift Command A. Now let's create a big one and let's make sure it fits vertically and horizontally. I'm also going to open the transform to move it up and down. Okay, this is great. Change the roundness to make sure we fit. Put it to the very bottom. Now we can make it whatever color we want. We can make it white so that we can see stuff. But instead of white, why don't we let's do iPhone wallpaper. I'm going to press a shortcut, Shift Option Command H or G, and this is the shortcut that allows us to fit a certain object to the size of the screen, either vertically or horizontally to the size of the composition. And from there I can make it bigger, smaller. Do need to make it a bit bigger, so let's put it 35. Okay, and let's track matte it to this guy. Great. Now let's duplicate this iPhone, make it visible. Let's only do the stroke. Let's increase the stroke width like so. Let's make sure our anchor point is in the middle. And now let's make it a bit smaller, just a tiny bit, and let's make it black. This is great. The only thing we need to do is we need to change the position because it's not very straight. So let's connect this to this one and P, move this one a bit to the right, like so. Now let's just copy this thing, put it here. Let's put it to the bottom, P. Let's move it a little bit to the left. Let's change the iPhone background to something else. Love it. Okay, now we need to add just a couple of things there. Notifications, because let's double check. Notifications, yes. So we do have some sort of icon there. iPhone message icon download. So let's drop it in here. Okay, let's do it for like this for now, and then we might change it a little bit later in the future. Let's see what we created. How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's $2.37 every single second. That's more than most people make in an hour, every second. Share this with a friend who needs a raise. Okay, I'm loving everything. We'll definitely have to create something in terms of the background a little bit later because we don't have backgrounds for any of these things, but other than that, I think it's looking super great, super expensive. Maybe we will create like a rounded edge here because it doesn't look like an iPhone currently, but we can certainly do it. Like, it's not a problem. We created it here. Super easy. We'll see what we can do here as well. Other than that, I think I want to stop here, take a little break, get some fresh ideas into my head, come back with a fresh view and see what kind of results we can get here. We are doing a great job. It's been about 2-3 hours since my last session. I'm continuing with this edit. There are a couple of things we can do. I'd like to walk you through some of the options that you have when it comes to this. Let's take a look at the calendar, for example, or a composition doesn't have so many layers. I think it was this one. What we can do is we can create a camera and we can zoom in with the camera. If we zoom in with the camera, we're going to lose quality. Why? Because everything is going to stay the same quality, basically. And we just zoom in and if we zoom in here, you can see the quality is pretty bad. However, there's an interesting workaround around this, and it has to do with the SVG files that were created in Illustrator. For example, let's create a null by pressing Shift Option Command Y. Okay, it's going to stay at the bottom. We'll select everything aside from the null, and we are going to parent everything to the null, like so. At the same time, we're also going to click on this button, which is rasterize, and therefore, let's say we press on S, and now let's increase the size. And you can see that the quality is actually becoming better than what it used to be. It used to be, take a look at this part, or take a look at this part. We increase it in size, and it's becoming better. So that's what happens when you rasterize. Okay, I'm going to go back to cancel everything. So a couple of things we can do. So yes, we can definitely work with the camera to create this bokeh effect, basically the blur in the background, the foreground, which looks super expensive, sure. And we can actually do that for the background. We can also use the same effect with the Gaussian blur. In any way, at the same time, what we also did great is we have each of our sets, each of our scenes in a different composition. And because we already have the audio here, we can actually animate every single one of them on its own. Let's give it a try. I'm going to select everything, press A, and to close everything. So now we have everything closed, and I'm going to change the composition of this to 1080 by 1920. So we're going to make it vertical. And okay, let's start with this first one. Let's close everything else. And I'm going to select everything, Command S to, oh, actually it's here. So rasterize every single layer. Now I'm going to deselect everything, Shift Command A, select the first layer, and here we're going to create a null, Shift Option Command Y. Now we're going to press Command A to select everything, and by pressing Shift I'm going to press on null to deselect it, and now we're going to parent everything to the null. So even if we drag one thing to the null, we still are parenting everything to the null. Okay, great. So now if we can control everything by increasing the null. Beautiful. This is actually going to be like the main null. Let's use P and S. Actually, let's start from like this position here, roughly. Put 2 keyframes. Really increase the scale. And let's put it something like in the middle. We just increased this null, and because we want super smooth movement, I'm going to select this null and I'm going to create another null, and I'm going to connect this null, the main null, to null number 3, doesn't matter the names. And now while we are zooming in, we will already start moving to the left, like so. And eventually we should finish here. Let's Fn, F9, everything.
How much does Tim Cook make every second?
Okay, this needs to stop here. Actually, I think what we can do is we can do it like this, so it will start very fast in the very beginning and slow down.
How much does Tim Cook make every second?
And maybe we need to zoom in a little bit less. And then going to smooth this one out a lot. And while this one is still moving, we're going to start going down by, in this case we can just duplicate this one, then parent it. By pressing P, we will delete these keyframes, and so we'll start from this position, and we will go down like so. Select it, double click.
Let's break it down. Second. Let's break it down.
Maybe we need a little bit less. What about this? So let's take a look at this one here.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down.
Let's create another null around here. So duplicate this one, P, connect this one to this one, delete the position keyframes, and start, and then end. Let's say here we'll do it on our own, F9, zoom in, and we'll do it like this. Let's create a marker. Let's search for how to leave marker. Don't remember. Okay, Control 8. So let's put the marker here. Control 8. Okay, great. We have a marker now, and
let's break it down.
okay, beautiful.
Second, let's break it down.
Maybe we should start this one a little bit sooner.
Second, let's break it down.
Maybe it should go just a bit lower.
Second, let's break it down.
Maybe even lower.
Second, let's break it down.
Okay, let's see.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down.
So for the first one, we have
How
it
much does
done.
Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2020.
Okay, let's open this one. Let's make it 1080 by 1920. And we are going to do exactly the same thing as we did previously. Let me select the top layer, create a null, select everything, deselect the null, parent everything to the null. And whilst we have everything selected, we will click on rasterize. It's already rasterized, okay? PS, rename it to main null. Okay, so we did have our iPhone here. Let's select our iPhone, this one, this one, this one. Let's select our iPhone and bring it to the calendar iPhone and paste it in. Now let's put everything in the middle. Because we had it parented, that's why this thing happened. Great, now we can deselect this background. And now we can select everything, deselect the null, and we can track mat everything to iPhone, because that was our track mat. So deselect everything. Let's scale it down just a bit. Like so. 99, perfect, just so that we don't cut the edges. Let's parent these two to the null as well, so that null connects everything. So now that when we scale, we do have our iPhone like this. How does this one end? It goes to the right. Okay, so we can actually have it come. This is going to be the final keyframe, and we should do it like so. This one is going to go to the very left. This one is going to come like this.
2020.
And a bit more room because there's literally no space.
In 2024, Tim Cook made.
Let's check what it looks like.
Break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made 74.
Okay, let's take a look now.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's 6.2 million.
Great. Okay, now we need to create our iPhone thingy here as well. Let's take our iPhone as well, copy, paste it in the iMessage bubble. Deselect this one, put it in the middle, and actually we need to change the size of the composition. 1080 by 1920. Our animation itself on the background is not perfectly in the middle because we didn't put it in the middle in Illustrator. Something that's better to do, but we didn't do it, and it's not the end of the world. Okay, let's create a null, select everything. We will deselect these, we'll parent it to the null. Okay, rasterized. Turned on, and I was thinking about selecting the null and putting it in the middle. Okay, we can just do it with rulers then. So we have 1080 by 1920, you can see the numbers. 1080 divided by half is 540, so I need to find 540, this is going to be the very middle. This is going to be in the very middle right now. Perfect. Let's turn on these guys. Looks like our Tim Cook is not in the middle, but whatever. Okay, now we will select everything aside from the null and we will track mat to our iPhone. Then deselect everything and we can delete this iPhone as well. And to disable it, change the position of our null. Now we also need to find the picture of this and we need to track mat it to this shape, like so. And let's search for where we have these things. I want to press on P and change their position so that it's a little bit higher. Now things are the way they should be. Let's close these because we already finished with them. So we finished with the first two. Now let's work on this one. Main, null, duplicate, parent, P and S. Actually, what we can do is let's take a look. Let's create another null here. Parent this one, P, select a position, and then we start going down rapidly. Fn, F9, open, do it like so.
$60 million.
Okay, and let's start this. I need a background because I cannot see what's happening. Let's enable this. Okay, so let's start from here. Let's do it like so. Fan F9. Okay, and now we're doing exactly the same thing once again. Just going to get rid of the background. Okay, let's take a look at what we have so far.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's $2.37 every single second. That's more than most people make in an hour.
Let's take a look at everything put together.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million a month, $1.4 million a week, $204,000 a day, $8,500 an hour, $141 a minute, and that's $2.37 every single second. That's more than most people make in an hour, every second. Share this with a friend who needs a raise.
Yeah, I think everything is great. Aside from maybe a couple of zoom ins, like for example here, I think can be a little bit better. We need to get rid of the backgrounds and set a background. So let's try and do that. Okay, so for this background, we're going to delete it. Okay, we are definitely getting there. Okay, so for this background, let's search for, this looks great. Okay, why don't we go here into the Finder project, downloads, drop it in, go to the very bottom and drop it in here. Okay, so let's try a couple of things. Let's try this moving with the rest of the image, like significantly bigger, something like this. If we want it to be connected, oh no, we need it to be even bigger. Okay, so let's take a look.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down.
Okay, the first one looks great. What do we have next? Next we have, I think for the next one we should just go for a gradient. So Command Y to create a solid gradient ramp. Give me color code to use as a gradient for Apple animation. Actually, we shouldn't just put a gradient, we should probably put like a 4 color gradient. This is the one we need. Okay,
Actually, maybe we don't even need to put it here. I think we can use a similar background here, so we can just go ahead and copy it. Let me just close everything, because I'm starting to lose track of things. Control C, Control V. Actually, let's try to put this color on the background here. Let's animate the opacity. Like everything except for the transition here, I think we should do something about it. Don't like the way this one ends. Maybe we should change the position to be like this.
$1 million. That's $6.1 million. That's $6.2 million. $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million.
Maybe this one needs to start higher. Let's give it a try.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024, Tim Cook made $74.6 million. That's $6.2 million a month.
I think it's great. I might do a couple of other insignificant changes in the future, but overall, I think this video is turning out to be absolutely fantastic. So now let's export it. In the next video, we are going to work on the sound effects. Let's go to export, add to render queue, give it a name, save it, and render. Beautiful. Maybe we should also add a bit of motion blur to everything, or maybe not, we'll see. Because right now there's no motion blur anywhere. So let's take a look at the final video.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down.
This looks great. I think we should add motion blur. So select everything, add motion blur. I mean, this will probably take a lot on the computer. We can give it a try and see what kind of results we get. Especially on transitions, it's going to be super useful because it's going to make it a lot smoother on transitions.
How much does Tim Cook make every second? Let's break it down. In 2024.
Yeah, the transition is a lot smoother this way.
This is just one of the lessons from my full Skillshare class on Apple-style motion graphics in After Effects. If you want to keep learning with me, there's a 30-day free trial to Skillshare linked below. No prepayment, just full access. Click the link, start learning, and I'll see you inside the full class.